Yeah, everybody, all my followers is locked. Oh, come on. Oh, be welcome to another video. Right. The video today is on this 2012 Volkswagen Touran, whatever. The engine on this is the 1.6. So the ECU on this car is the Continental CMOS PCR 2.1. Why I mention that? Because I think it's going to be important throughout the video. So, what is wrong with this thing? Okay, and with the phone I'm recording, at least ran out of battery. So anyway, we are back in business. Let's see if we can do these now. So, as I was saying, so the story with the car is the following, and this is what I've been told. We'll have to try to somehow figure out if this is true or not, try to figure out what's been done, etc, etc. So apparently these guys is exactly how I was told. So the car had a ECU replacement, but the ECU that was installed was from a Passat manual gearbox. This car is a DSG. So that's it. So since that was done, the car comes up with the following. Let me show you. Okay, so first is always showing that even when the car is obviously I'm in park, and the brake is on, and I'm not pressing the brake pedal, and it's always showing that. If I get rid of these, so we have a stabilization control error, we have our ABS start and stop, we have our ABS. I don't even know if this thing has start and stop. I don't think it actually has start and stop, because usually the start and stop button is down here. I think it is. I don't see any buttons for the start and stop, so I think the ECU, if this is correct, that means the ECU on the car thinks start and stop is installed, which obviously is not. What else? So we have engine light on, so that at the top should show me the gear engaged, should show park. As you can see, it doesn't show nothing. I think sometimes I see that flashing there. Let me see if I go reverse. By the way, the car drives absolutely fine. So reverse, I'm going to show you. The car came driving. Oops, and the brake is on. So as you can see, so the car is driving fine. Okay, is engaging gears fine, etc, etc, but obviously we have these errors here. Now the car starts, as you've seen, so something must have been done to the ECU. If this story is correct, that the ECU came from another car, obviously something must have been done to the ECU for the car to start. Or these came along with transponder and I don't know what else. I guess that's the only other option, I think. And probably, I think the keys are going to be on the cluster, probably. So the transponder would have to be, unless this has been the immobilizer has been disabled on the ECU. I'm not sure. I'm just thinking out loud. I should have done. I should have probably think this thoroughly before I start to record. But well, you know me best. So let's gonna move this to over there so we can work on this a little bit and try to understand exactly what is wrong with it and how we're gonna fix it. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna use this tool purely because I actually did one of these ECUs just last week, the PCR 2.1, and I had the tool still on my bench over there. Which is the PCR 2.1 from factory. They are locked. You can't do serial programming through the OBD port, which means you can't read maps or write maps into the ECU. So to be able to do that, you need to actually open the ECU first and unlock the ECU. I actually did it using a key tag, but you can do it using a KES as well. But it needs to be done on the bench still. Which is you read the EEPROM and then you modify the file, or the tool will modify the file, and you write that EEPROM back in, and then it will allow you to do serial programming through the OBD. And because I had the case there just on the table, that's what we're going to do. We're going to quickly just connect to the ECU. I might do a backup if the ECU, if it is unlocked, and that's what I want to see, is to see if the engine ECU is locked or unlocked. If the ECU is locked, it means it's still factory configured, I would say, so nothing has been done to it unless someone did it and locked it again, which is not very common to see that being done. So if it's unlocked, that means obviously maybe all these I don't know, is the immobilizer on the flash or on the EEPROM on this? I think it's on the EEPROM. Right, anyway, let's just quickly see what is the status of my ECU. So we're gonna go there quickly. So I'm gonna load the data and we'll see. So this was the last one I've done. I'm gonna look for the Touran. Probably this is the same ECU anyway, but it doesn't matter. So let me load the data and see if this ECU is locked or unlocked. Okay, and the ECU is still locked, as you can see in there. It still says it's locked, and the VIN number, the chassis number, is actually correct as well, which now it starts to puzzle me. So obviously, if the story is true that this came from a Volkswagen Passat, the ECU would have to be cloned. Or can you program this through the OBD, the VIN number? I'm a little bit confused now with how to proceed. Okay, I think it's time to change tools and go from there. Okay, battery is on charge, so we can be here with ignition on. I'm using the IM608. I'm going to mention this on this video only. Well, it doesn't really matter why I mentioned it, but I'm using the IM because I had to quite recently update the software on it, or pay for the subscription on it, to be able to program a key on a Audi A3, all keys lost, and would only allow me to do it with a active subscription. So I had to do it, and obviously the MS still does pretty much everything, but because this is fully up to date, it might be that it's better to use it in this case, in case if we need to do some coding, if we're going to be able to do anything like that. I don't know yet, but I'm going to play a little bit with this, see if there's anything here that help us out. I want to understand exactly what's going on with this, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, so a few modules here with faults. I'm not gonna really worry about these ones below. Power steering, driver's door electronics, gateway. I already checked. There's some data bus faults for the infotainment system and some speaker faults, low voltage on a lot of the modules. I'm gonna focus mainly on these first three. So we're gonna go to the brakes because we know there is a fault. I already pressed on the wrong one, I think. Oh no. Let's see what the brakes tell us. Okay, rear, so passive and passive. Right rear, so the rear wheels. Oh, why did I press that? So rear wheels, then incorrect coding on the engine control module, and control module incorrectly coded. Okay, so that pretty much tells us what is wrong, but we do have these passive ones. It could be old codes, we don't know, but this starts to point us in the right direction, and maybe that the story I was told is actually correct. It's going to go to my gearbox. Turbo codes. So vehicle speed signal wheel speed from brake control module. Okay. Data bus missing message from diagnostics interface. Both passive. Okay. Let me just go quickly to live data. I just want to see what information is the gearbox sending as for the position of the gearbox, of the lever, because of that. I actually don't know if there's a module just for this, for the lever. Select the position P. Select the lever. Select the lever position. Let me move this. R, yeah. Neutral. Drive. Sport. And this is Tiptronic. Okay. So looks like this information here is correct. I don't think there is a module access just to the lever. I think the lever is part of the gearbox. Yeah, so anti-theft, there's no faults there. So it's gonna go here onto the engine to see what's going on in here then. Trouble codes. Glow plug, forget about that. Lost communication with HVAC, forget about that. Lost communication with the data module, passive, active software incompatibility with transmission control module. There we go. So I'm just confused a little bit how the heck this has the correct VIN number. How this has the correct VIN number, how this has the mobilizer programmed, and let's see if there's anything here that will help us. I'm not gonna lie, I prefer the way the live data is showed on the MS than on this one, but at least I'm more used to that one. Okay. So what are we gonna do? I know what is going through a lot of your guys' heads is just flash this with Otis. My problem is I don't think I'll be able to do it because I don't have any files, I think, for the Otis. I never flashed with Otis before. Right, let me think a little bit what I'm going to do. Okay, a little bit of digging to this. That is what I get when I try to code the car as a automatic, which makes sense because obviously the ECU is not going to allow me to just code anything I want. It's going to be software dependent. So if the software does not allow me to code a auto, it's not going to allow me to code an auto. So as you can see, here is all the coding for this particular ECU, and as you can see in there, is coded. So the second so byte 1, as you can see, is 19, as you can see in there, and 19 is for a, there we go, is for a 6-speed. So 18, then plus 1 is 18 manual gearbox. So it's a 6-speed manual gearbox. And what I need to code into this is a 25, which is a 20, which is a 7-speed, and plus 5 manual dual clutch DSG, but when I try to put 25 in there, obviously the ECU rejects the code. Is out of range because the ECU does not accept. So we're definitely going to have to update the software on this ECU. How I'm going to do that, I don't know yet. Just let me think. Okay, so the last clip you've seen was actually recorded 3 days ago, I think it was. I was working nights that day, so I worked a little bit more throughout the afternoon, but I haven't recorded anything. Also, a quick warning now, guys, the rest of this video is going to be a talking video. I'm going to take you through everything I've done. The car is fixed, although I left home to go for a test drive, and I thought I'll go for a test drive and I will finish the video somewhere. And then as soon as I left home, I was presented with that ABS, and then comes up with the DSC fault or unavailable, and the steering light eventually comes on as well. But that's something different, and that is going to be for another video. Okay, so as you can see, that is going to be for another video. Okay, so it's nothing to do with the problem we had before. So as you can see, that coding, I think I showed you on ABS, was also wrong coding or something like that. Anyway, so the car is fixed, as you can see. So you can see at the top now we have the gear indicator. If I go to reverse, that goes to reverse, drive. So the car drives effortlessly, it drives absolutely perfect. So now if I open, so if I now put the box, for example, in reverse, and I open the door, you get that message again, and look what happens when I put into park. That goes off. Okay, so everything is working. Another thing that I've noticed straight away is that which was not doing before, which is when you engage the car in drive or reverse, whatever, and you take your foot off the pedal, the car now accelerates on its own and tries to engage gear and sort of bites the clutch straight away, ready to drive. It was not doing that before. I don't know if I mentioned that. Anyway, the car is fixed, guys. Everything is fine. There's no more lights, no nothing. The car drives perfect. Everything's good. However, that was a little bit of an adventure, and that's what I'm going to take you through. So I'm going to flip the camera. If you don't want to watch me talking now until the end of this video, you can just go off and watch something else. Okay, so I'm not really sure how I'm gonna edit this, so bear in mind with me, but I will do my best to make this kind of making sense. So what have I done that afternoon? As we've seen, so my next option to do anything with this car would be to flash the ECU. Now, I had several options. As you've seen, the ECU was locked when we checked it with Kes. So my option would be open the ECU, unlock the ECU, and then find a flash file for the ECU that would be compatible with this car, and then put it back, and then blah 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 blah. You know, guys, exactly what I mean. But I didn't want to go the route to open the ECU. I was trying to do that without having to open the ECU. So my next option was Odis. Now, for you guys that are familiar with Odis, you don't laugh. I mean, for me, it was the first time. I never used it before. I was actually thinking just before I started to record, I think I never used Odis on any of my videos. If I did use it, it was probably one or twice that I don't even remember. I really don't use it. I have that laptop though for about 5 years, maybe. I don't know. I have that laptop for a long time, but I didn't have any flash files or anything like that. Never worked with engineering mode. The very few times I remember, don't know if they are on video, but the very few times I do remember using Odis was actually the service system. I never used the diagnostic system. I never used the engineering one. So everything was a learning curve for me, okay? Also remember, we did everything, or I will tell you now, I did everything offline with no Gecko accounts. I think it's Gecko accounts that I call it. So no online access. I did everything offline. So what I had to do, so first of all, was see if I could get my Odis engineering to work, which I did. I think you can also flash with the diagnostics one, at least there's the option there, but I believe you really need to have online access to do it through that. I believe, I don't know, but with the engineering one, you can actually do everything offline. So anyway, so I managed to connect to the car with the engineering mode. I had some project files missing or something like that I had to get hold of. So anyway, that afternoon, that's what I've done pretty much, was making sure I could connect to the car and everything was working. Then on that same day, I put some flash data files to download. I don't think I got the full database. I got a database with about 40 something gigabytes, and the Volkswagen data was 14 gigabytes, 14. So I don't think it's a full database, but anyway, got hold of that one. And what I've done afterwards was try to figure out from all those softwares which one I could flash, or which one would be compatible for this car. So what I've done was I went to actually eBay and I looked for an ECU for this particular car. So remember the ECU on the car, if you don't remember, the ECU on the car was the 30L 906 023 FS with the software version 9978, if I'm not wrong. I would have to go through here. I have some stuff here that I'm going to show you in a second, and I wanted to go through that as we go along. So it was the 9978, so that was the version of the original file. So what I've done next was again, so I went on eBay, looked for an ECU that would be compatible with the car, and I came up with exactly same part number but ending in PJ. Okay, so that was the one that I found for a DSG 7 with the DSG dry clutch 7 speeds. I confirmed by looking for different, there's people selling like ECU kits with ECU cluster and all that good stuff. I was just interested in looking at the label of the ECU. So I did all of that, and again I confirmed several times that the PJ one, it was compatible with this particular car, with this gearbox. But the software I was finding on most of those was 07, oh Jesus, am I gonna have a, I don't think I do have one here now. Oh, yes I do. So I'm gonna actually put here on the screen somewhere. So this is one of these ECUs I found. As you can see, it says 03L 906 023, which is the same as the original on the car, but rather than FS it says PJ, and as you can see underneath CAYC it says 0875. So 0875 is the software version. Now when I was ready to flash the car, I went through the database I've downloaded and I could not find this particular file. I mean, I could find the FS, but I could not find this particular version. And I should have a screenshot here somewhere of the versions I could find, which I will show you, which was, boom, boom, where is those? These ones. So these, again, I'm going to put here somewhere. These were the versions I could find for this particular ECU. As you can see, the part number match saying PJ, but then those are the versions. And what I've done with these, what I've done afterwards was I literally tried to flash every single one of them, but not before. Went on Google and I put the part number followed by the software number, and I found on a few websites some information about this, and they were all of these, they were for a DSG 7. I found a couple of websites that wouldn't tell me if it was the gearbox, but a lot of them I found they would actually say for the DSG. So I knew one of these softwares would work, so I tried to flash the lower version first, I think the 504, the 5404, and I got an error. Then I tried the 6941, gave me an error, and then from there I just thought I go for the highest one, and I flashed the 9978. And as you can see, there is the job. So I'm going to put some stuff here. So as you can see in there is the job with that particular file I've just showed you, the 7.8, and I start to flash the module. as you can see, and off you go, and we are flashing. The process didn't took too long. It took, I think, 3 minutes. 3 minutes something. As you can see, the process went quite well, and it finished, as you can see in there, in about 3 minutes and 41. So I pressed yes at this point to clear all the DTCs. Okay, flash successful. And after that I was left with those codes. So incorrect coding and control module vehicle options error. So that was kind of expected. So my next step was check the coding, and as you can see, the coding was all zeros. Now here I done a mistake, because the current code, as you can see, was showing all zeros, but when I tried to flash, so hold on a minute. Okay, as you can see here, the current code is all zeros, but here I did a mistake. And my mistake was that I put in there the coding from the old ECU. And as soon as I pressed the code to apply, I got a rejection for this coding. And then it crossed my head, and straight away crossed my head, hold on a second, obviously it's not going to code, because this coding is going to be based on a different software. So the ECU straight away rejected the coding. And then from here, what I had to do was I had to actually go online and actually look for, I actually found it on a forum. I think I found on a forum someone with a same gearbox, same car, and I've seen the coding there, and the coding was slightly different. The first, I think obviously the 25 for the gearbox, that's the same, and then there's a few other things along that were slightly different, and I've coded it, and as soon as I coded it, we were left with so I pressed the coding, then as you can see in there, we still have the engine on, that's still flashing, that stayed like that until I recycled the ignition, and that was it. And as you can see in there now, the current coding was accepted. That was the coding that was accepted, and that's it. And that's it, guys. After that was just clear all the codes and problem fixed, guys. So I'm really happy that I managed to fix this problem. I was a little bit concerned at the start that I wouldn't be able to do it. That is actually nice that I have, and I would love to show you the car completely fault free, but as you've seen, we have a issue with one of the sensors. There is also a problem with the parking sensors and parallel parking. I think this has the parallel parking, the automatic parking thing, and there is an issue with both, but obviously because there's an issue with one of the sensors, obviously the parallel parking is not going to work. I don't know what's the problem with the sensors, don't know if I'm going to be asked to look at it. I don't even know if it's going to ask me to look at the ABS. I'm literally just finished to record this video. I'm going to give him a bell, tell him that it's fixed, but he still has these issues. What he wants me to do, if he wants me to do anything with this, obviously will be separate videos for that. But for this one, guys, that's it. That's what I've done to fix this thing. Yeah, that was interesting. It really was a learning curve for me using Audis. In the end, actually quite simple, to be fair with you. But that's it, guys. So if you have this issue, that's how you can fix it, and that's it. Problem solved, guys. I'm not going to delay anymore. I think I haven't missed anything. If I did, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope there's some information here you guys can find useful. Hope you learned something. And as I was saying, if you have any questions still, any comments, guys, put them below. And like always, thank you for watching.